20th of August 2016. A very good evening to all our viewers. It is Saturday and welcome to the weekend edition of Primetime News. I'm Joel Outscore. Yet another 4x100-meter relay triumph for Jamaica as Usain Bolt continues to rewrite the sports record books. We have all the action from Rio 2016 coming up on Sports First. But before that, here's a look at tonight's headlines.
Southeastern University students bar higher education minister from entering the campus. Sri Lankan Airlines flight delayed by 15 hours after crew member reports late to work. Ranjan Ramanayaka apologizes for not being able to provide free Wi-Fi.
බැරි වුණ ආණ්ඩුවට ඒකට සමාව ඉල්ලනවා මුලින්ම මං ජනතාවගේ වැඳලා ඉල්ලනවා මේ වැරදි කරන කැබිනට් ඇමතිවරු ඡන්දෙදි පරද්දන්න.
A decision must be taken on public officials who obstruct good governance. A request from Professor Sarath Vijayasuriya.
Top story this evening. An event that was to be attended by the Minister of Higher Education was abandoned today due to protests from students at the Southeastern University.
The Minister of Higher Education was to open the new women's hostel at the Southeastern University today and also lay the foundation stone for the new technology faculty building. However, students had protested against the minister's visit since this morning. The students who protested in front of the main entrance to the university pointed out the facts that female students have been residing in the hostel the minister was to open for 4 months.
The minister was preparing to put on a political show today. He was arriving here to declare open a hostel that was opened 4 months ago. Our students who live in the hostel have to face many hardships. CCTV cameras have become a main purpose for them. We wish to ask, what's the point in declaring open a hostel that has already been open for 4 to 6 months?
A representative of the minister arrived at the scene and invited 5 of the students to hold discussions at a hotel, but the students rejected the offer. Lakshman Kiriyalla, who has been appointed to the higher education portfolio, has not even met with the students to discuss the issues they face. We are very disappointed and saddened. We have been waiting since this morning to welcome this minister. A private secretary to the minister travelled 400 kilometers and came here and invited 5 students to hold discussions with the minister at a nearby hotel. As the Students' Union and the student movement, we are very disappointed with this minister. Nevertheless, the university administration had this to say regarding the issue. It is not all the students. A certain group of students is leading the students astray. The higher education minister was to arrive at the university today. They had commenced a small protest without informing the university authorities. It is possible that external parties may have influenced the students to do this. The Vice Chancellor had decided to grant this hostel based on a request from the students. That hostel is the best hostel in the university. The sub-warden of the hostel informed me that there was fierce competition among the female students to get into this hostel. The Minister of Higher Education faced similar protests from students yesterday too, when he took part in 2 opening ceremonies at the Trincomalee campus or the Eastern University. Our attempts to make inquiries from the minister regarding the continuous protest from the students were unsuccessful.
A fire broke out at a filling station in Peldenia this evening.
According to the police, the fire erupted after 2 fuel bowsers collided with each other at the filling station. Earlier, the fire brigade of the Kandy Municipal Council had refused to douse the fire. The reason was cited as a failure to make a payment for fire doused at the private establishment, which incidentally owns the filling station. However, following the intervention of the municipal commissioner, 2 fire trucks had been dispatched to the location.
And on a story that made it to the headlines this evening, A Sri Lankan airline flight from Frankfurt to Germany to Katunayake was delayed by a shocking 15 hours due to the late arrival of a crew member. According to Air Passenger Rights of the European Union, passengers are entitled for compensation following the delay of flights.
Sri Lankan Airlines flight UL 554 was scheduled to depart Frankfurt, Germany at 3:20 last evening with a total of 259 passengers hoping to reach Katunayake, Sri Lanka. However, due to the non-arrival of a crew member, flight UL 554 was delayed by 15 hours according to flag carrier Sri Lankan Airlines. As the Frankfurt airport closes at night, the flight commenced its journey bound to Colombo at 6:20 this morning. Due to the non-availability of the crew member, Sri Lankan Airlines, complying with international regulations, had attached a crew member of the flight that reached Germany from Colombo to UL 554. Sri Lankan Airlines said that all passengers affected by the delay were provided with meals and accommodation. The airline added that it apologized to customers for the prolonged delay on flight UL 554 and notes that passengers will also be compensated as per EU regulations. The EU air passenger rights indicate that if a flight arrives more than 3 hours late on arrival at the final destination stated on the ticket, passengers are entitled to compensation. Thereby, for delayed flights between EU airport and non-EU airports of over 3,500 kilometers, passengers can seek compensation for €600. The distance between Frankfurt, Germany and Katunayake, Sri Lanka is 8,087 kilometers. Accordingly, passenger under the EU regulations will have to be paid €600 by Sri Lankan Airlines. Based on the exchange rates announced by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, a sum of 96,960 rupees will have to be paid as compensation for a passenger.
Well, on the latest news from this story, we just received reports that the flight in question, UL 554, has landed at the BIA. Moving on to more local news this evening, preparations are underway for the 65th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. A meeting was held in Kurunegala today to discuss the anniversary celebrations.
Several SLFP ministers and MPs attended the meeting, which was convened to discuss the anniversary celebration, which is to be held on the 4th of September in Maligapitiya, Kurunegala. We have decided to hold a celebration unlike any other in the past that will attract many people under the patronage of His Excellency Maithripala Sirisena. All party activists will be involved in this. The party convention will be held in a manner that represents all districts. We have also extended invitations to former presidents Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga and Mahinda Rajapaksa. They are the patrons of our party and we hope that they too will join us.
Dala Salha Peruma and Mahinda Yapa Bebodana of the joint opposition convened a media briefing in Mathura today.
As politicians representing the Mathura district, we are completely against the agreement reached at the meeting at the Sanath Jayasuriya grounds under the auspices of the President and the Prime Minister. We are there to protect the manifesto that was placed before the people during parliamentary elections. Nowhere does it say that we will be part of the consensus government. That says that a clean SLFP government will be established. We cannot betray that policy, nor can we join with the people who are betraying that policy. We cannot do it and we will not do it. We will not put under any threat.
A group of SLFP representatives convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
Those in glass houses must not throw stones. Dala Salha Peruma resigned with great flair yesterday. This is the man who fled to America when a UMP government was about to be formed. He only returned when the party came into power in order to get a ministerial position. Mahinda Yapa Bebodana was the district leader. Mahinda replaced him with Dala Salha Peruma. How many SLFPs did he replace as organizers with people who came over from the UMP? Today, these people have forgotten all of that. It is as if they died and have been reborn. The time to purify and clean up the SLFP has come. Action was not taken against persons who continuously violated party discipline, challenged the leadership of the party, hooted at the party office and threw water bottles at the party office. So there was frustration among SLFPs regarding why the party leader was not acting on this and why attempts were not being made to correct this. So he has now taken a clear step regarding this. So people who are speaking against the party and are working against the party ideology will have to be very careful, or it will be their turn next. These are not UMPs. There is another matter that we must clearly mention here. The incumbent president is not trying to chase away or remove SLFPs. Letters are sent to everyone. Attempts are made to unite everyone. Throughout the years, he has respectfully addressed letters to everyone. What do? They tear up these letters in front of the media. They did not do this in the past. In the past, UMPs were appointed as organizers. Those who worked for the victory of the SLFP were thrown out of the scruff of their necks. He's on the phone now. Put him on speaker. They are asking whether you can be appointed as an organizer. I should have been appointed as an SLFP organizer a long time ago. My mother and father were transferred across the width and length of Sri Lanka by the UMP government in 1965. In 1977, our house was torched and shot at. My father, an education director, was transferred to Jaffna. My mother was transferred to New Australia. There is no one who has sacrificed as much as I have. We were denied nominations on 3 occasions. We did not receive it from the People's Alliance or the UPFA. Today, His Excellency Maithripala Sirisena, the President, as the chairman of the SLFP, has brought fairness to politics in the Hambantota district.
The following views were expressed at the event held yesterday to mark the first year anniversary of the government of consensus between SLFP and the UMP.
When the decision was given by the Supreme Court regarding Divinaguma, the Chief Justice was sent home almost immediately. When the Supreme Court made a ruling against the government in terms of VAT, the judges were not changed. That is the difference. Yes, we are happy about it. But it is not the happiness you have. If a person who ruled the country for 9 years and a so-called person who has provided leadership to the politics in the country for 30 to 40 years, a person who depicts himself as a patriot to the people of the country, if a person like this is asking the people whether they are happy when they are in distress, then you can understand his nature very well.
I told Mahinda Rajapaksa once, imagine what we could have done if Ravi Raj and Pararaja Singham were there after we received freedom in terms of bringing about reconciliation in the north. What did he tell me? He told me, Rajita, the military does not understand politics. That is the issue here. That was the situation. They put everything on the military. It wasn't the military. It was done under their consent. When the war finished, I told Mahinda Rajapaksa, you can become the second Mandela and that this is the way to get there. He agreed. But in the end, he did not choose Mandela's journey, he chose Mugabe's journey to destroy the whole world. Look at the change today.
I would like to state, even with disappointment, that there are some state sector employees who worked as slaves and individuals without a backbone during the Rajapaksa era, working now to disrupt the agenda of the good governance government. We are urging the President and the Prime Minister that these forces should be beaten. If these forces raise their head, that the opportunity to materialize the hopes and aspirations of the people will be lost.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ බලාපොරොත්තු මුදුන්පත් කර ගැනීමට තියෙන අවස්ථාව.
And on our developing story this evening, the report of the Parliamentary Committee on Public Enterprises or COPE states that the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has been negligent in obtaining information regarding the controversial bond issue. Submitting the report to Parliament recently, COPE Chairman Sunil Handunethi said the investigation report would be delayed further.
The first COPE report on the 8th Parliament of Sri Lanka was tabled in Parliament on the 9th of this month. The report, which considers 19 public enterprises, also includes details on progress into the central bank bond issue investigation. The report criticises the procedure followed by the central bank in furnishing information regarding the bond issue. While COPE had requested information on the bond issue from the Director of the Public Debt Department at the Central Bank on the 11th of May 2016, there had been no response. The Auditor General had informed the Governor of the Central Bank on the 25th of May 2016 that if the submission of the information is delayed, the matter would be reported to Parliament. On the 2nd of June, the Central Bank noted that arrangements could be made for auditors to visit the Central Bank and obtain the necessary information by examining records. The next day, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, P. Samarasiri, addressed a letter to the Auditor General noting that arrangements have been made for officials to examine the records and obtain the necessary data. The COPE report notes that as such, while the Central Bank did not directly refuse to provide information, the procedure that was followed caused the Auditor General's report to be delayed. The report notes as a result of the action of the Central Bank, several harmful situations were created, including information had to be obtained by examining a massive amount of data on computer networks, and the requirement of specialist knowledge made it difficult to obtain information instantly. The fact that the Public Debt Department, which had provided the information requested in the past, had informed that information could be obtained by examining records this time around is problematic. While audit officers obtained information after much effort, the information had to be confirmed by the Central Bank again. And delaying the constitutional duties of the Auditor General by not providing specific information and limiting the scope of the Auditor General by attempting to put staff through a tiresome process. Meanwhile, when all responsible authorities, including the Central Bank Governor, were summoned before COPE, Deputy Governor P. Samarasiri had noted that the Central Bank and the Auditor General have an agreement to the effect that sensitive information will not be provided and that such information can be obtained in person. The Deputy Governor pointed out that the opinion submitted by the Attorney General on the 2nd of December 2014 was also a reason for this. However, the COPE report notes that the committee was of the view that the opinion submitted in the Attorney General's letter cannot be interpreted to mean that the submission of information to the Auditor General should be limited. Nevertheless, while the Auditor General's report on the bond issue has been submitted to the Speaker, a summary has been referred to COPE.
In truth, this accusation is a very serious accusation that has been levelled at the Central Bank. Parliament must certainly act on this accusation. The Auditor General can be considered to be the third eye of the Monetary Board of the Central Bank. If they refuse to provide information to the Auditor General, then what the Monetary Board has done is, in effect, binding their own third eye. A very serious situation has arisen as a result of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka violating the Monetary Law Act and the Constitution. We see the obstacles placed in providing information to COPE as a deliberate obstacle. Thereby, we must clearly state that the responsibility for this lies with the Governor of the Central Bank, the Minister in charge of the financial sector of the country, the Finance Minister and all other competent authorities. We must say that if the officials of the Central Bank have deliberately covered up information with the knowledge of the Governor against whom the accusation has been levelled, then it must be condemned.
Who profited while the people of this country lost billions of rupees through the Central Bank crisis? Who are they?
A very interesting story. Deputy Minister of Social Empowerment and Welfare, Ranjan Ramanayake, went live via Facebook today and apologized to the public.
We made a number of election pledges. We even said that we will provide free Wi-Fi. The government was not able to fulfill these promises. I apologize initially for that. Because there is no Wi-Fi, the youth does not have data. You can watch this quickly. So let me be brief with my opinion. Recently, Professor Sarath Vijayasuriya said that there are 6 cabinet ministers and 10 state sector officials that he would immediately send home if he had the power. He says that the government has done a number of mistakes. I too have information that our people are committing mistakes. I urge the people to come together to punish these corrupt state sector employees and cabinet ministers. Do not vote for the cabinet minister and send him back in. Defeat him at the election.
මේ කැබිනට් ඇමතිවරුන්ව ආයේ ඡන්ද දීලා පත් කරලා එවන්න එපා. ඡන්දෙදි පරද්දන්න.
The Gammadda 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
A prolonged wait for 24 years has finally come to an end as the hopes of the people of Singhapura Valikanda has come to fruition.
Gammadda 100 days, day 32. Foundation stones for 2 projects aimed at providing water for the people and students of Singhapura Valikanda were laid today. Senior officials of the Capital Maharaja organization as well as Divisional Secretary of Valikanda were present at the inauguration ceremony.
There should be proper access to water before we initiate plans to build palaces in the sky. In the words of the Venerable Thero, how do we live if there is no water to drink? How do we sleep in the night with fear of being attacked by a wild elephant? Therefore, I would like to say something to all of you today. 3 or 4 Sri Lankans have sacrificed their hard-earned money for these projects. I fondly and respectfully remember their contributions. The whole village depends on this to have access to drinking water. The Venerable Thero as well as the members of the staff at the school depend on it. There is no greater deed on earth than providing water. When looking at corruption and fraud in the country, we see that millions have been defrauded. There was also some fraud at the central bank. However, if the current leaders were able to spend just 500,000 on our village, all of us could have gained access to clean drinking water.
One of the water projects will be allocated to provide water for the students of the Singhapura preschool, while the other will be allocated for the students of the Singhapura primary school. The water projects, which will be established at the Singhapura Gamunu Raja Mahaviharya, is estimated to provide water for 200 families. The villagers were quick to express their enthusiasm as their gratitude. An array of issues faced by the people of Singapore were brought to the attention of the Newsfirst team. A number of other projects were being established island-wide, while some others will be vested with the public in the near future.
The Gammadda 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
The bridge was constructed at a cost of 34.2 million rupees under the Relief to the Village program that is in effect in the Hambantota district to construct bridges in rural areas. If we are to develop as a nation, we have to deal with the world. The country needs to deal with the world politically as well as economically. Vehicle permits were obtained in large amounts during the previous government. Vehicles were registered to their names as well. Various concessions were obtained. When the former president went abroad, they enjoyed very luxurious foreign tours. The people who robbed and thieved the wealth of the country and the money of the public are talking against ECTA today.
Well, on that note, we wrap up this edition of the weekend edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. For the News1st team, I'm Joel Outskun. But here's a reminder that you can keep abreast of the latest and trending stories on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. Take care. Good night.